Hey everybody, David McCree, CPA here. I wanted to talk to you for a minute about a disturbing trend that I'm seeing at the IRS in the Exempt Organizations Division. It might be happening in other places in the IRS too, but this is the part that I have experience with. And that is when I send them correspondence or documents, they just tend to lose it. They say they never received it, despite the fact that I have certified postmarks and proof of receipt, return receipts, and so forth. So I want to tell you about a particular client I have. It's a Form 990 that I prepare and file. And this particular client required two extensions. The first extension I filed electronically, and the second extension I filed on paper. Well, a number of months after the return was filed, the client gets a notice from the IRS saying that they're assessing a $3,000 plus penalty. Well, the client immediately wrote a check and paid the IRS and then notified me, and of course I said, look, I've got proof that it was filed on time. But I was really stumped because that's the first time I've ever had a situation where an extension was filed via my tax preparation software. It was e-filed. And of course, I always advise people, if at all possible, you should e-file your extensions, thinking that it was pretty much bulletproof. Well, it's not. So the IRS, when I called them, said, well, we have no record of this, any extensions at all for this client, either electronic or paper filed, which I just found bizarre. So of course I had to write a letter to them enclosing the proof of filing of the extensions, and it was no problem to have the penalty lifted. But I just want to let you know that I know a lot of people, probably most people, even CPAs, are lax about this. They just send the extension off and that's it. Make sure that you have proof that you filed an extension. So that means if it's electronically filed, make sure that you print out whatever it is from your software, whatever report or form that shows that the extension was filed electronically, and most importantly that it was received and accepted by the IRS and whatever date that was. And if you file an extension by paper, make sure that you have the date stamp postmarked from the U.S. Postal Service, and make sure you keep that with the paperwork. And also make sure you get a return receipt. And I always also include a transmittal letter and a stamped self-addressed envelope. And the transmittal letter says, Dear IRS, this is the purpose of this letter. I'm transmitting an extension to you for this client. We're extending it to such and such a date. And if there's any other paperwork in there, I include that. And say, please mark this letter received and return it to me in the stamped self-addressed envelope. And about 75% of the time I get it back with a date stamp on it. And the advantage of that is it isn't just like the return receipt from the post office, which says, that green card that says, bang, yeah, the IRS stamped it, yes, we received it. Well, what did they receive? There's no proof that they received anything other than an envelope. So the transmittal letter, where you say, please acknowledge receipt of the enclosed documents, and you list the documents, the IRS stamps that, so they're saying, yeah, okay, we actually received the listed documents, your extension or whatever. And so that it's not completely bulletproof, but it's about as close as you can get. So if you file enough returns, you're especially, I can tell you the 990s or the 990 PF, 990 EZ. At some point, the IRS is going to say, hey, we didn't get your return, or you didn't file an extension, or whatever. And if you don't have the proof of filing, timely filing, it's your word against theirs. And, if this is the first time for that particular client, then they may get a first-time abate. If it doesn't happen to be the first time, or if the IRS is just not in a very good mood, they may uphold the penalty. You may have to go to appeals, and boy, what a pain. So, bottom line is, make sure you have proof of filing your extensions, and the same thing goes for your return. Make sure you have either electronic proof of filing, or make sure that you have that postmark, the return receipt, and hopefully a transmittal letter as well that's stamped received. So there you go. You know, you got to have patience dealing with the IRS. Good luck. Form990help.com.